Hello everyone, how's it going? Ryan here, and today I'm going to be doing a product review. How about that? This is a software instrument or VST called SubLab. Now, essentially, this allows you to very easily and quickly pick templates for 808s without the hassle of having to, sidechain and kind of mix a kick and a bass drum, yeah, kick drum and a bass is what I meant to say, together. So it just makes things a whole lot easier. There's some really cool sounding templates in there. But before I ramble on anymore, let me just show you what this sounds like in context to the mix. Now you can see here I've got a sub mid and a sub. So essentially the sub is what I put as like an octave lower. Obviously this isn't mixed, and then the sub mid is like the octave up sort of thing, just so it cuts through that mix a little bit more. Obviously when mixing it, I would treat it very much the same. I'd filter out, for example, I'd boost this sort of section here for the sub very minimally without much distortion, and then the mid I'd put a lot more distortion on and maybe boost around here, potentially a little bit in this section here. So this is what it sounds like. So you got a little bit of a gist there on what it sounds like with the guitar, the drums, and the sub, and then with just the drums and the sub. And I'm just going to single these both out just so you can hear it on its own. Beautiful stuff. That's what I say. Cool. Anyway, without further ado, let me just get rid of all this. So let's have a little look through, and just so I don't mess up my project, I'm just going to duplicate this and just call it sub or SB, because I forgot to press U, apparently. Cool. So what we're essentially going to do is solo this, and then we're just going to real quick just make this the zone, just so we can hear what we're doing. Cool. Now let's just have a listen to a few of the templates that comes with SubLab. So this specific one that I was using is 808 NASCAR at the top. Let's start with 11th dimension and see what that sounds like. So I'm not going to show you every single preset on there, but it gives you a general sort of overview on the different kind of sounds you can get. Now within this VST, obviously it's got a very minimalistic but very focused, should I say, kind of palette selection here. So obviously you've got this master section here, the distortion and the compressor section. Obviously you can toggle these on and off, these two, as well as the filter, and there's obviously some controls and dials here which allow you to essentially pick different things. So this is the sub volume right here, this is the sampler volume, and this here is the oscillator volume. And as well you can pick, for example, the different synth sounds. So sine is obviously a lot more subtle, whereas square and saw will be a lot more in your face. And then obviously, like I said, you've got the sampler and the X sub here. So it's not something I'm going to delve into. This isn't necessarily a video on how to use it in and out, but more of a review. So I think it's really good that we've got these sections in here, so that if we pick a template we like and we want to add a bit more distortion, for example, not the way I would personally do it. I would personally keep things within the VST as raw as possible, and I'd add my distortion afterwards. And as I said at the start of the video, I would separate it into a mid and a sub, like two layers, so I can really add the distortion in on the bit that's not going to sit very low end in the mix. But really, really good overall VST, really simple to use, really beginner friendly. And as you can sort of hear already, it's very, 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 good. It's essentially, if you're not the sort of person that wants to sit there and sidechain this and go through about 50 kick samples and find a bass and do this, it's just a much quicker, simpler, and solution made approach to mixing. So I'm going to leave this video at that. I wanted to make it nice and short because there's nothing worse than a review video which just goes on and on and on and on and on. But hopefully this gives you a general idea on what the sounds are, what I think of it, the pros, and to be honest, the cons. There's not really many. I think ultimately, if you can't find a sound in there that you don't like, did that even make sense what I just said? Anyway, if you can't find a sound that you like within the VST, you can always make your own. It's not going to stop you. But generally, for what it is and the purpose it serves, I think it's a really, really good VST instrument. So yeah, without further ado, thank you so much for watching. Have a good day, and yeah, bye bye.